Okay, yesterday I did not get as much done on taking off the front nose as I was hoping. I did take some screws out and label them. I also took off that little bracket there. I took off these front grills off of the bumper. My thought was that if I took those off, it would help me gain access to some of the screws. Completely did not need to take those off, and I'll show you in a second here what I'm talking about. There's just too much inside there that really sort of gets in the way, and so it's pointless to sort of take those off. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second here. Okay, let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about in here with this stuff here. There's just too much stuff inside the grill area there to get access to the screws that you need to take those off. This plate here hadn't taken off. I did disconnect my battery, and I did disconnect my turn signals, and just sort of pulled those up out of the way. They let's see here. Those turn signals get mounted back down onto into these areas here. Those two bolts there connect there. So the turn signals got pulled out. I did hand crank my headlight bezels up, and what I have to do is take out these screws here and take the bezels off themselves, and then I should be able to reach down inside there and get access to the screws that hold the bumper on. Very, very difficult to see in there. You can't really probably see what I'm talking about. What else did I do yesterday? Difficult to see, but I did get some of the screws off from the ground effects there underneath. I'm going to have to jack up the car. There's really not a lot of room under there to work with. So I'm going to have to jack up the car. Front of the car, I'll put the wheel chocks in the back, and I will jack up the front of the car and put the axle stands underneath to get access to underneath the car a little bit better. Unless when I take these off I can get under there, but there's not a lot of room down there to work, so anything to help gain access to those screws a little bit. But we are getting closer. I'll probably take off these take these screws off of here, take these off, take those off, and take those off, just because I know they're all connected to this front nose, and I'll see where I'm at with that. What I ended up doing was taking off the headlight bezels. You can see here they're just taken off, and I can, now that they're off, they'll be a little bit easier to do the modifications that need to be done, so they can match up with the new bumper, and we'll get to that part when we get to that. Now I'll continue on a little bit here. Okay, what we had to do here, in order to gain access to down in here, I had to disassemble, take apart the raising headlamps. Now, I don't know, somebody else out there might have had a better idea to do this, but I was finding to get access to down inside here, where you need to get access to those bolts there that hold the bumper on, and also those bolts way down in there that hold the ground effects on. After examining it from underneath, crawling around underneath the car there, and poking around in here a whole bit, I just figured the easiest way, for me anyway, at least, I don't know, nobody else out there, as near as I could tell, looking for videos on how to do this, was really explaining adequately how you exactly get access to these bolts. And I found the best way, at least for me, to get your hands in there and so forth, is to just pop out the bolts that hold this guy on. You know, take your bulbs out, take the adjustment screws out that adjust your headlamps so they align like your headlamp alignment screws. Just take all of that out. Take the bulb out so you don't break it. Put it somewhere safe. Disassemble that. You don't have to disconnect the wires. You could disconnect the wires to the motor if you wanted to, and just pull those off totally, but I don't think we're going to need to for this. They're resting quite comfortably on that support plate there, so they're fine. They're out of my way, and unless they're in my way, I'm not going to take off those wires if I don't have to. I really just needed to get access, for the most part, to these bolts down here, which were just proving to be a real pain in the backside to get to, outside of what I've mentioned here. So far so good. Okay, there is our stock bumper off of the 82 Trans Am. I have to admit, this thing was a real bear to get off. I did end up having to take off the screws for this bracket that follows all the way along. I can take it off and put it back on. It doesn't look like it's going to be that much of a big deal, and it's in really, really nice shape, so I'm going to see if I can use it if I can. The real problem with taking this bottom bumper off is not so much these screws in here, but there's also one screw that's sort of hidden up underneath the fender there. I almost missed that one. He's kind of tricky, hard to find, hard to spot. But there's this screw here, a little bit of a pain in the backside to get to, but your real problem with taking this guy off is going to be these little one-shot, I don't know what these are called, these little plastic or nylon pop rivets that go in the bottom here, all across the bottom, so you're going to need to crawl into the car. Now, I'll tell you what worked good. If you can hammer them out from the top, that's great, but if you can get in, let me see here, bear with me here, if you can get in underneath with one of these tools here, little angled tool here, and start prying these little clips out, because this teeth in here will grip the little nylon studs, and you can actually coax them out. You can, if they're very difficult to get to, but if you can get to them with a little small hammer or something and a scratch awl or something to tap them out, you can tap them out. Like I say, they're difficult to get to, easier to get to underneath. Now these little guys that are run all the way along these tabs here. Now these end tabs here, if I remember correctly, I think it's this one here. This one here is underneath the ground effects. So you don't have to take your ground effects off to get to these. If you got this tool, you can just loosen your ground effects, pull them down a little bit, shine a light in there, position a light so you can get in there, and you can coax these guys out with just a little bit of effort to get these guys out. And but these guys are a pain in the backside to get out there. They do grip pretty good once they're in there. I don't know why they didn't use bolts. Maybe they figured these were better or something. I don't know. Less likely to rust, I guess, because they're closer to the ground. I don't know. Who knows what their thought was behind these, but they are a bit of a pain in the backside to get out. But you can do it fairly easily with one of these tools here with the little grips and the angle. Just pry it and coax it out, and they come out not too bad.